Okay, today we're talking about solving and graphing two-step inequalities. And we should have two sheets. So you should have a blank sheet that looks like this. Then you should have a cutout that looks like this. Okay, so what we're supposed to be able to do after we finish this topic is I can solve and graph two-step inequalities with one variable. Okay, our central question is, EQ is, what are two-step inequalities? So I answer, and the reason I give you the answers is because I know my handwriting when I'm writing on my laptop isn't that great. So I'd rather give you the answer so you know exactly what it says. All right. So again, what are two-step inequalities? Two-step inequalities are very similar to two-step equations. Okay. The only difference is equations have equal sign, and inequality signs are less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, less than, or greater than. Okay, so remember, equalities mean equal, and then inequalities gives you inequality sign again, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, or greater than. Okay, so here's our things you should be writing down. So this is a greater than or equal to sign, and you know it's equal to because you see this little line underneath the sign. Okay, see how I made this blue? So on your cutout, they're placed incorrect. So this one should be folded up and glued up top and placed on your first one. Okay, so again, this is greater than or equal to, and when you draw this on a graph, you make a circle. You close the circle because it's equal to. That means it includes it, and then you go all the way to the right. Okay. The second one is less than or equal to, and this is the yellow one. So we go up to our cutout. The first one we have is yellow. Okay, and I made these color coded so it makes sense to you. So it's equal to because it has a line underneath it. So what we do is we go to the point where we're equal to, draw a circle, fill it in because it says equal to, and then go all the way to the left. Okay, that's less than or equal to. The third one is a purple one. I'm going to go to the one that matches that. Looks like it's the last one. And it should be greater than. So this is a circle. It's not colored in because it doesn't have the line underneath it, the equal to line. So it's an open circle and it goes to the right. All right, then the fourth one is a less than sign. That should be the third cutout. That's an open circle and goes to the left. So make sure you use the glue lightly up top and just glue the rim of it because it's a flap. Okay, so you want to make sure that you can open it up when it comes to the sign. So we go to this important note sign. And we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to cut it out and fold it with this right here and then glue it. And what we should write under that is, remember to flip your inequality sign when you multiply or divide by a negative coefficient. So anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, your sign has to flip. All right, so let's go to some of the example problems. Okay, here's the first example. 4x minus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 17. So what we want to do is we want to get my pen out. We want to add 1 to both sides. Let me erase that real quick. Again, we added 1 to both sides. This cancels out. Now I have 4x is greater than or equal to negative 17 plus 1 is a negative 16. Okay. Then we want to divide both sides by 4. These 4's cancel out. And I have x, I'm going to write it up here. X is greater than or equal to negative 16 divided by 4 is a negative 4. Okay. Now since it's negative 4, we want to find that point where negative 4 at. We want to draw a circle on it. So we have this sign here, which is greater than or equal to, and we're going to color it in because our notes tell us to. And we go all the way to the right. And I know it goes to the right because I can go back to my greater to or equal than sign, and it says closed circle, go to the right. Okay, if I'm going too fast, make sure you pause the video. For the second one, we have 5 minus 9x is less than negative 13. So we got to get 9x by itself, and it's a negative 9x. So we got to get rid of this 5. So we subtract 5 from both sides. These cancel out, leave me with a negative 9x is greater than negative 13 minus 5. There's two negatives and we're combining them. So we want to keep the sign and add the number. So 13 plus 5 is 18. So I have a negative 9x. Let's see if I can make this larger so I can have a little bit more space. All right, negative 9x is less than negative 18. So what I need to do is I need to divide both sides by negative 9 because negative 9 and x are multiplying. So I have, let me divide both sides by negative 9. Sorry if you can't see that. So these cancel out. Now since I divided by a negative 9, a negative number, a negative coefficient, that means my sign switch. Okay, so now I have x. Instead of saying less than, we're going to say it's greater than. And negative 18 divided by negative 9 is 2 negatives, so they turn positive. And 18 divided by 9 is 2. So we can graph this now. And we go to the 2. Let me erase that, make it a little bit better. We go to the 2. We have an open circle because there's no less than or greater than sign to it. And then since it's greater than, or greater than, yes, greater than, we're going to the right. All right. And the last one we have 8 is greater than negative 12 plus 5x. So what we need to do is we need to get 5x by itself. So we got to add 12 to both sides. Okay, again, it's just like equality. We need to get our variable by itself. So now we have 5x is less than 20. Or you can say 20 is greater than 5x. Okay, now we need to get x by itself. And since 5 and x are multiplying, we divide both sides by 5. That cancels out. Leaves us with x is less than 20 divided by 5, 4. Okay? Or you can write it like this. It's still the same. X is less than 4 if you like keeping your variables on the left-hand side. Okay? So there's no line underneath it. We draw an open circle on 4. And then it says less than, so that means we go to the left. So make sure you're using all of these to help you out. Okay. Once you come up with what the variable value is, it tells you which direction to go. So let's go to our 3 questions. Let's try to hurry up and fit them in before the time runs out. So we got 5x minus 3 is greater than negative 18. So what we want to do is we want to get that 5x by itself. So we got to add 3 to both sides. So these cancel out, leave me with 5x is greater than negative 18 plus 3. Well, negative 18 is the larger number, so I'm going to have a negative answer, and 18 minus 3 is 15. Okay, now we got to get x by itself, so 5 and x are multiplying. The inverse of multiplying is division. So we want to divide both sides by 5. These cancel out. So now I have x, and since I'm not dividing by a negative number, my sign stays the same. Negative 15 divided by 5 is a negative 3. So x is greater than negative 3. Okay, and negative 3 looks like it's in between that line right there. And since it says greater than, that means we're going to the right. Open circle too, because we doesn't have a equal to sign. And if I'm going too fast for you, pause it. We got to get negative 2x by itself. So we want to add the inverse of minus 7 is plus 7. So we want to add 7 to both sides. These 7 cancel out, leave me with negative 2x is less than or equal to 15 plus 7 is 22. So I got a negative 2x. They're multiplying. The inverse of multiplying is dividing. So I got to divide both sides by negative 2. These cancel out. And since I'm dividing by a negative number, my sign changes. So it goes from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. And 22 divided by negative 2 is negative 11. So we go to the negative 11 mark. Let's make our circle. It has a line underneath it, which means it's included, it's equal to. So I'm going to color in my circle. And it says greater than. So I'm going to go to the right. Our last one, we have 10 is less than 28 minus 3b. So we got to get that minus 3b by itself. So we got a positive 28. Let's subtract 28 from both sides because that's the inverse. Inverse means opposite. So that cancels out. And I have a negative 3b is greater than 10 minus 28. 28 is our negative, and it's still the largest number, so we know our answer is going to be negative. And we say 28 minus 10 is 18. So we have negative 3b, which is multiplying. The inverse of multiplying is dividing. So divide both sides by negative 3. But we're dividing by a negative. So that means our sign must change. So now we have b. Instead of being greater than, it got to be less than. Again, we divided by a negative number, so it changes our sign. So negative 18 divided by negative 3, the answer is going to turn to positive because we got two negatives. And it should be a positive 6. 18 divided by 3 is positive 6. So we have b is less than. I told you we could write it like this. If you like keeping your variables on the side, on the left side. So b is less than 6. So we go to that 6 marker. And it doesn't have a line underneath it to tell you that it's equal to. So that means it's an open circle. And it goes to the left. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you come see me. You do have a worksheet. So again, you're not turning in the notes, but you do have 8 problems that's in your Schoology that you need to be doing today. Okay. If you have any questions, I'll be there on Tuesday. You can hold off to them and I'll help you out.